right, welcome. Today we are going to cover the Anti-Colle. And that is where black tries to beat us to the punch and line up their bishop on d3 because they know we're going to put our bishop on d3. And we are going to just take that thing head on. And I'll put a link to a video up here where I came up with this idea for white because of the way that the line that I learned through chess goes, where I play against the London system in a very similar way. So if you want the origin story on what kind of inspired me to play this, find this kind of this move, up above me here. But so how did we get here? Well, there's different ways, and like I said, they're all going to be annotated in this repertoire. Now they could say, they could do it right here, would be one way, and then we get to this kind of same position. Or they could wait till we commit to this Colle system and say, and then the black player may not know anything about this other than that, oh, we know they're playing the Colle, so we're gonna just play this Anti-Colle and hope for the best. And that's frequently what you're gonna find. We have a nice little surprise for them. We are going to play bishop to d3, and there's three different kind of responses. The most common response is they're going to take there. We're going to take with the queen. And now, this is kind of the wrinkle here, is that, well, if you look, almost 60% of the time they play e6. Well, what does that neglect? Well, when they played this move here to go into the Anti-Colle, they gave away protection of this b7 pawn. So that pawn is not protected right now. But most of the players kind of aren't even thinking about that. They're just kind of like on autopilot. They play e6. They're like, oh, I'm going to get castles, get my bishop out. Well, bam, surprise. This pawn is ours now. And so we're going to just grab that pawn. And the key thing to know in these lines, they're probably going to try to get, castled quickly. The key thing to know is that this a6 square, we're going to prioritize just getting our queen to that safe square. And then we always have this diagonal to retreat along. And now it's black's problem to show us where they have compensation for this pawn. And they don't have full compensation for this pawn. And so at club level, we're probably just going to go into an endgame a pawn up. So I really love this. I was really surprised. This is at 1800 to 2200 Lee chess strength. You see that 58% of the time they push e6 here. 58%, and we just grabbed that. So what else could they do? Well, they don't have to take it, right? If they realized that and played c6, not a big deal. We just organized for the e4 break. That's our backup plan. That's our main idea, actually, in the Colle. So if they play c6, we just set up our pieces for this e4 break. Not a big deal. But we get this free opportunity to let them kind of not even be aware of what's going on, and we jump all over it. So let's look. So they don't have to take this, obviously, right? So let's just look at what happens. Well, they could go e6, because some people who play the London system maybe, oh, okay, I'll go down into this setup and really clamp down. They know we're trying to play e4. They're like, oh, I'll clamp down on that. Well, we use that same idea, right? See that alignment? So most of the people are going to play g6 and protect that thing. Well, bam. Same idea. We're just going to grab that pawn, right? Just like in the other line. Now, the more solid way for them to play would be to retreat. Instead of playing bishop takes d3 or e6, they'll play bishop to g6. And in that case, we could just continue with our idea of knight b to d2, castle, and push forward. It's fine. It's objectively fine doing that. what I did when I made this repertoire, I wanted everything to kind of flow and have a familiar feel. So I didn't want to get in a situation where we have to take with the C pawn, back with the C pawn if they decide to do a delayed bishop takes bishop, and then we have to take with the C pawn. So what I recommend is that we're going to go queen to E2 and just take a little bit more time setting this up. That way, if they capture, we just take back with the queen and we're kind of in the same position we were before. But more likely, they're just going to continue developing, and then we will set up our main plan, which is the E4 break. So kind of all roads lead to we get safe first, and then we bust with E4. And one little kind of subtlety here, if you just play E4, absolutely fine, but there's no reason to not damage that pawn structure first, right? Double up these pawns and then bust with E4. So that's kind of our theme, for these anti-colles, is we're going to use that idea of, and it's a theme in our repertoire, because we'll see it in the Slav as well. When they leave protection of that B7 pawn, we want to target in on that. That's like our clue. They think they're taking this square away from us, but they're also giving up protection of B7. And that theme will kind of run throughout our repertoire. We'll actually see that in the next video when we talk about the Slav setups, actually. But you can see how it just kind of flows. Like, we have our idea there in the Anti-Colle, using that B7 weakness. If we're not able to use it because they retreat back to G6, no problem. We just go with our standard main kind of plan of setting up an E4 bust. So that's why I really kind of love this thing. It just flows. It's so easy to remember. And you can see, like, it scores great. So we'll see in the next one. The next one we'll cover the Slav, where we will also be targeting in on that B7 weakness when they do these early excursions with their bishop. So we'll see you soon.